Good evening, welcome along. We're here for a very special programme tonight. This is our Wembley preview because in less than 24 hours from now, Sheffield United will step out at Wembley to take on the might of Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-final. And boy, do we have a show for you to get you in the mood for the big day. We've got lots of special interviews, exclusive interviews with very interesting characters tonight. We will hear from Prince Abdullah. He'll be joining us on the show. We'll take you to the team hotel as well and hear from the manager and the players. But we want you to get involved as well. You can ask any question you like of our panel, of which there will be many tonight. All you've got to do is put your questions in the YouTube chat box. And you can vote for your top Sheffield United FA Cup goal as well. So if you want to get involved, please do. Just put your questions in the chat box. Right, so we are looking forward to what's going to be a very special occasion for Sheffield United. They got the job done here just a few nights ago to strengthen their position in the race for automatic promotion, but now it is all about Wembley. And to join me for this part of our special Wembley preview, I'm joined by Carla Saba, who played in the 2003 semi-final.
Yeah, 20 years ago. Cheers.
And Chris Morgan, who has been on the winning side against Manchester City in this competition before. Carl, let's start with you. What a day this promises to be. We can shelve the promotion talk for a bit now and fully focus on what's going to be a great day.
Not even mention the game in hand or anything now.
Well, we can do if you like. We've got plenty of time.
No, it's really exciting. The boys deserve it, the fans deserve it, and it's going to be an incredible occasion.
Chris, your thoughts ahead of this one? What a day!
Oh, it's a great day out for everybody. You know, the build up for the supporters. You know, the footage of people queuing in the car park to buy tickets, and you know, I'm looking forward to seeing the footage of the lads in the hotel. You know, they must be so looking forward to walking out at Wembley tomorrow. And you know, what a place to go and play football, and against a club like Man City. What were you like on the eve of that FA Cup semi-final at Old Trafford?
Giddy Carl. Well, let's just. No, I was really excited. I'd never played at Old Trafford. Our semi-final was at Old Trafford. Thankfully, the manager took us there the day before, got us used to surroundings, and just wanted to get to sleep. Like this time, then the night before, I just wanted to get to sleep, to wake up, you know, like a kid on Christmas Day. That's how I was like.
Was it a mixture though of different emotions within the squad? You said you just wanted to get to sleep, wake up the next day. Were other players quite reserved? What was it like?
Well, of course, in every squad you have a mixture. People deal with things their own way, but our squad, we had that season where we just wanted to take on the opposition. You know, it didn't matter who they were. Liverpool, we beat Liverpool here thanks to Tongi, and it was one of those. We were on we couldn't really do anything wrong. Arsenal were the top team in the land. Henry, Bergkamp, and we just knew that we had energy and we had a great team spirit and we had the belief.
It's a similar position to what Sheffield United find themselves in now, facing Manchester City. No one really gives them a chance. Yep. Promotion is the ultimate aim. How do you think the players are approaching this?
We've just been talking off air, haven't we? I genuinely, if you're asking me my opinion on how them players will feel, I'll actually think that they'll go to bed tonight not feeling as much pressure. Obviously, there's pressure in any game because you're going live on the cameras tomorrow in a FA Cup semi-final, millions watching, so of course there's pressure. But in terms of if you were playing a lesser club and you were going there thinking, do you know what? You know, we should be really beating these, or we should be getting a result against these. Where I'm not saying it's impossible. You know, it's never impossible to get a result in football. And Man City have had an hectic schedule. Are they going to have to change their team up? You know, they've probably got 30, 35 players who they believe they can put out against us and beat us with any of them players. But I think with the way that we've been playing, if the lads are relaxed and they go out and they play, why can't we cause an upset? You know, and it'd be a huge upset. Let's face it. Let's be truthful. It'd be a huge upset. But things happen. Things happen in football, and that is the magic of the FA Cup. Exactly.
But City are tired, as Pep says. So exhausted. So they've got a chance then, haven't they?
Yeah. No,
I do feel for Pep. You know, that thin squad of his.
Of course.
And how they're going to cope.
All this travelling they've been doing and these coaches and stuff. No, I think the boys will be really excited because they're playing against the best players in the world. You know, if you can't raise yourself to, you know, the defenders trying to mark the best strikers in the world, they're going to want to do it. It's all the pressure is on Man City. It's a showcase. They've got to beat us comfortably. It's all on them.
It's a little taster for what inevitably is to come next season, and the Blades go into this on the back of a good result here the other night, and that leaves them very handily placed in the league table. We're hoping it's going to be a night of real celebration on Wednesday night when they host West Bromwich Albion. A win will do it for them. But yeah, looking at the league table there, that's what it's all about, really. This is a bonus game, isn't it, more than anything else?
Completely.
Yeah, I mean, of the last few weeks, there's been talk of Middlesbrough hunting us down, Luton hunting us down, and are we going to slip up? And we've got games in hand. You're better off having points in the bag. But the lads have just gone on and they've got results. And like I said, you know, packed house here Wednesday night, West Brom, and we're skipping past Man City already. But yeah, it's what a week it could be.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, throughout the show tonight, we're going to pepper in little reminders of how Sheffield United have got themselves to the semi-final. It started back in round 3 in January with that trip to Millwall.
Ball's on the far side, whipped into the area. It's going to come to the back post. Basham is there. Overhead kick towards goal. Here's McAtee. Wonderful ball out to the right-hand side. Jefferson through one-on-one on goal. Daniel Jefferson to score. Brilliant start from him in the game. And Daniel Jefferson with a cool and calm finish. And the Blades are ahead. Millwall 0, Sheffield United 1. And Jai. Excellent step on the play and then just weaves away from his man. Bursts into the area. Pulls it back. Jayden Bogle with the strike. There's a deflection on it as well. It's going to go in the back of the net. Bogle will celebrate. It's Millwall 0, Sheffield United 2. McAtee takes the corner shot into Njai. McAtee back to in the middle. What a strike across goal from the acute angle. That's one off the training pitch. Bogle down the right-hand side for Sander Berger. Sander Berger will just ghost into the area. Brings it back. McAtee with a step over. Here comes Ender Stevens. It's blocked in the middle. Stevens then he's bundled down in the area.
A tricky way to start for Sheffield United. Always a difficult place to go. But they got it done, didn't they?
Yeah, and it was on the bit where we were just getting into the season. We're really establishing ourselves as challengers. And it was, oh God, we've got to play the FA Cup now. It was that feeling. We don't want this to derail at the momentum in the league. And the manager made some changes and the boys stepped up. And as we see there, Jebo, a wonderful finish. Some incredible work in a minute from Njai. And it turned out to be a really good result because Millwall were flying at the time as well.
Yeah, cup form, they often say, can help the league form. Some say it can prove to be a distraction, but momentum and what you can get from a cup run is important, isn't it?
Yeah, I think also as well, like Saab said, Eki made a few changes in that game. So what it does is it gives the other players game minutes, you know, because third round, you know, going well in the league, it's a case of, are we that bothered about the FA Cup? Let's mix it up, and we're going away to Millwall. If we get through, we get through. So the lads who were on the bench get some game time, and all of a sudden then they're fitter, they're pushing. So it does.
It's the competition,
it all builds,
isn't it? The people who are playing, if they do good performances like Jay, but it puts the pressure on those other players who have been regularly starting, and it's good.
Yeah. Do you think they set out to go on a cup run this season?
Well, I don't think they were expecting to get to the semi, but the way this team have gone each match this season is to win the match in front of them. So, you know, they've gone positive.
Yeah. What about your experience of cup runs and going hand in hand with league form? Have you found that it's often worked in your favour?
I think the longest cup run I had was when I was back at Barnsley. We got to the quarter-finals, Newcastle away, and then got relegated out of the Premier League.
Oh, so it didn't work then.
So no, it didn't work that year.
I've had a couple of quarter-finals and a semi-final, and it just breeds momentum and excitement, and it's always gone well for us.
Yeah, that season when you got to that particular semi-final, I thought it was nailed on you were going to get promoted that year, because it just felt like you were always going to find a way to win, and the amount of comebacks you had
and big goals
that season.
And you had players emerging and discovering form. The emergence of Jagielka hitting top form, Tongi.
Yeah,
everyone had their moment in the season where they took things on, and it was a great squad, and the place was absolutely rocking.
And that's remembered as one of the great seasons. But being brutal,
we won nothing.
You won nothing.
We won nothing.
But it was such an amazing campaign with so many memories.
And the way that the fans that sort of revered us, that we had an open top bus parade. We were celebrated at City Hall because they knew we gave everything. And I'm not joking, the midweek matches here under light, they were just incredible. And everyone, you got Robert Page, you got Elliott, you got who've played at top matches, still remember the atmosphere in these matches.
Yeah. What about your experience in the FA Cup with the Blades, Chris? What stands out?
The bit that you brought up.
The goals?
Before, yeah.
Yeah.
The Man City one and the sort of balloon gate bit where, down in front of the away end. I think it was Steady's goal. Obviously, it's gone through, hit the balloon, and I think it might have been Nader Manua who's read the balloon instead of the ball. The ball's dropped for Steady, and Steady stuck it in. I think going back to the team that Saabs was in when they did the two semi-finals and the playoff semi-final. I watched the playoff semi here against Forest, went down to the playoff final because I signed that summer, and the gaffer had sort of given me a bit of an heads up, and the atmosphere, like particularly here for that Forest game, was ridiculous. And then even down at Wembley, but then the bit when you get to Wembley, that game sent just a game too far.
Yeah,
it was Millennium, wasn't it?
It was
Millennium, yeah.
It was, the lads looked flat. They looked, it didn't get a good start, and you just couldn't find that gear.
I really
that
think it was that as well. I think it was a game too far. The match here was like the cup final for us. I think the mentality as well was we could beat Wolves. The manager was able to chop and change. He had complete belief that we could beat Wolves. The tough one was Forest, and to beat them over 2 legs and the way we came back, that was like, maybe our mentality was we were already promoted. That's how I feel, that there was complacency going into that Cardiff match, because honestly, I didn't see Wolves ever beating us. You had Michael Brown who would look at a ball wherever on the pitch and it would go in the net. You had Jagielka, you had so many big players, so many options up front. You had Cabra, you had Pesh, you had myself, you had G. You couldn't see us losing, and of course we lost, and really resoundingly. It was terrible.
If you've got a question for the guys, you can drop them a line in our chat box on YouTube. Send them through, and I will put the best of them to the guys here alongside me. So do that, and you can also vote for your best FA Cup Sheffield United goal in the very same way. Just pop it in the chat box, and we shall reveal the winners a little bit later on. Right, so back to the here and now. Round 4 brought a little bit of Hollywood to the FA Cup. Sheffield United went to Wrexham. They needed a replay in the end to get through.
Doyle will whip it near post, headed towards goal, headed in! Ollie McBurney! Dream start for Sheffield United here in North Wales. It's Wrexham 0, Sheffield United 1. Ball in from the left, headed down, it's going to be flicked towards goal, and it's going to be turned in as well. And it's Wrexham 1, Sheffield United 1. Corner from Wrexham, whip central, Davis is there! And he's going to be smashed home. Wrexham 2, Sheffield United 1. Elliott tries to bring it down. Jefferson on the turn, cleared away. It's going to come out to Norwood. Brilliant block, Norwood again. Norwood. And Ollie Norwood will score for the Blades in the second attempt. It is Wrexham 2, Sheffield United 2. Into the Sheffield United penalty area, cuts back into the middle. Mullin to strike, Mullin to score. Wrexham 3, Sheffield United 2. Here comes Sheffield United's corner from the right. Doyle into the area. It's going to be in! Turned in by John Egan! What an incredible game. 2 minutes of added time to go. It is Wrexham 3, Sheffield United 3. Here's Osborne into Ahmed Hodgic who will strike! Ahmed Hodgic will score in front of the Cop end. 5 minutes into the second half. Sheffield United 1, Wrexham 0. Well, Ahmed Hodgic will go beyond here, and a penalty's been given. Adam Davis, Welsh international keeper, will try and save it. Mullin blasts it down the middle. It is Sheffield United 1, Wrexham 1. Touched into the box, then a challenge goes in by Norwood, and that is a penalty. 18 minutes to go, Mullin drills it, Adam Davis saves, down to his right-hand side. Touch, and Billy Sharp is in. Sharp will race through to the edge of the area. Can he seal it? Of course he can! Billy Sharp! Sheffield United have once again ripped up this fairy tale script. It runs for McAtee. McAtee through to Berger. Berger to finish. Sensational goal. Sheffield United. Championship class is told tonight. Sheffield United 3, Wrexham 1. Doyle will whip it.
Some roller coaster ride that, wasn't it, in the FA Cup for the Blades against Wrexham. A reminder, keep putting your questions into the chat box for our guests here. You will notice that Chris Morgan has been subbed, nothing new there, and that's even before we've got to halfway. So, you know, some things never change, do they? A reminder, we'll hear from Prince Abdullah and Joe Elliott before we are done here tonight. You were at that game, the Wrexham game.
Both the Wrexham games.
You didn't enjoy a lot of it, did you? Not just the football, but everything surrounding it.
Yeah,
tell us why.
It was, they played out that it was a pub team, basically, and they just marvelled in them. They didn't want, the media didn't want to give us any credit. We were on a really good run. Nothing about us. No mention that half of those players are more than the championship players. They've got a championship manager. You know, and it was really hard work. And the atmosphere, I really worried once it started because it was a crazy atmosphere. And the boys, you know, the mentality, the way they came back and kept coming back, it was brilliant because they had a really off day. Wrexham played well, but this team this season, we found that they always find a way.
I don't know whether you feel it was a turning point or not, Carl. I'll come back to that in a moment. But in terms of this FA Cup run, there's always moments in cup runs, I think, and I just wonder whether this was a crucial one for Sheffield United, the character that they had to show and everything else that went with it, to come through that. Is this maybe the game where they started believing that actually they could do something serious in this competition?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's difficult when you have cup games, you know, because you're playing against a variety of oppositions. People have different motivations within that. And as Carl said, there was a lot surrounding the game off the pitch, but it was a difficult game. It was a difficult game for the Blades, and for them to show that sort of determination and grit and to actually put the result in, get the results, that they did, just showed that actually they are professional and they can get these results. And even if things are going against them, be it on the pitch or off the pitch, whether it's their day, whether it's not, you know, that's a late equaliser there from Egan and those sorts of things. You have good teams find a way. And that was just reflected in that result. So I feel like it was a bit of a turning point, and albeit the FA Cup, it still supports the form that they wanted to continue within the league. It
did seem to galvanise the squad a bit.
Yeah, I think there's been a siege mentality for a lot of this season. There's been things that have popped up and that are said in the media or said about them, or when they do well, they're not given the credit. And I think they've done so well not to bite. You know, Billy had a bit of a pop with, is it Tozer? You know, the one with the throw who thought he was Maradona but only had a throw. But other than that, they've not been drawn into conflicts. You know, you had Pearson having a go at Kedra. And they just stayed focused. Okay, we're going to play the match, we're going to win the match, we're going to get a point and keep going. And I just think as a group, they've been incredible. And there's a cup run. You know, it's been a brilliant cup run. It's not been easy at all.
Got some questions here. Who wants to take the first one? Was there an FA Cup game that stands out for you growing up? Ellie?
FA Cup game? I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
Crystal Palace with Alan Pardew crossing with the outside of his foot against Liverpool.
That's your
Ian Wright
standout memory, yeah. Gaza sticks out against Forest when he did his knee.
Oh, yeah.
Only because I suffered a similar injury some years later, and I thought, I'm the next Paul Gascoigne.
How did you do it?
Just overstretching for a football on the garages around the back of my house, where you weren't allowed to play, but we did anyway. And what made it worse, my mate's dad was the caretaker of the flats where we used to play.
Brilliant.
So I used to get told off all the time. But you can't beat a garage as a net. Sorry. Wembley memories, playing or watching? Carl?
Oh, God, losing to Man City. Honestly, I could be a gibbering wreck tomorrow. Back at Wembley, it's Man City. When they sing Blue Moon, I could just be shaking in the corner. So, yeah, scoring at Wembley is a big memory for me.
Yeah, I don't have the scoring at Wembley memory just yet, but from watching, I remember going down as a kid, Reading in the playoffs, Reading Swansea. I think it was the first time I went to Wembley, buzzing for the day, and then they lost, so I was gutted about that. But
who's in charge of Reading then?
I think it was Brian
McDermott?
Possibly, yeah.
When they got the record points.
Yeah, they were having a cracking season.
Was Brendan Rodgers at Swansea then?
Oh, I forget.
I'm asking some serious. Not that it matters, totally irrelevant. One here. I watched the show on Tuesday. Carl talking about tickets. Can you get me tickets for tomorrow?
I can get you £40 tickets at 60 quid each. Yeah, loads. You just text me, I'll supply them.
Always looking to make a quick buck. Pre-game rituals or superstitions? We might have done this with you before.
I feel like I've mentioned it before.
What was it? I can't remember.
I always put everything on my right side first. Not like I think I'm going to lose if I don't, but it just doesn't feel right. I remember having to get my right ankle strapped and I just couldn't get ready at all until I'd had it done because I couldn't put my left boot on, left shinny, anything. It's always right sock, right shinny, left. Yeah,
I couldn't bring I had so many problems.
He's already worried about too much anyway.
I didn't need superstitions to compound that. I was just happy if I got my socks and boots on.
Honestly, it's bizarre. If I put my right on, I'd have to, like my left on, I'd have to take it off.
Oh no!
And then do it again.
Someone like Cozzy would mess you up. He'd take your left boot so you could only put your right on. So.
Keep your questions coming. Put your questions in the chat box on our YouTube channel. Prince Abdullah coming up a little bit later on. Def Leppard's Joe Elliott, who'll be taking to the stage here at Bramall Lane next month as well. We'll hear from him a little bit later. Now, Nigel Clough led the Blades to their last FA Cup semi-final 9 years ago against Hull. What a game it turned out to be. In the Hull City lineup that day was none other than Stephen Quinn. We'll hear from him in a moment, but let's take a little bit of a trip down memory lane first.
Lays it across the break, and just behind him, he tries the shot, deflects, 2-0, Sheffield United, it's John Brayford. Cue hysteria at Bramall Lane.
We've worked with John for many years, since he was 16 at Burton, so we know the sort of player he is and impact he can have. And when we wanted to bring him in on loan, I know the previous owners weren't too keen on loan players. They said their experience of it was that they don't quite commit themselves as much because they're only here for maybe 4 or 5 months. And I remember saying, you won't have that problem with John Brayford. The commitment isn't anything that he'll lack. And he came around, became a sort of cult hero, I think, at Bramall Lane. And again, played a massive role in the cup run. The turning point was conceding early on in the second half. If we could have got to the hour mark, you never know. And ironically, with John Brayford, I still see him at the pub quiz and everything. I remind him now and again, he shouldn't give him the corner away. He was going to head it clear, and he played safe, gave the corner away. Didn't want to head it back to the goalkeeper. And then they got a bit lucky, and somebody miskicked one, I think. And Matty Fry ended up stabbing. It was a miskick on the edge of the box, wasn't it? Yeah, and it ended up Matty Fry stabbed it in for a few yards. And then the game changed from there on in. But we were never out the game that day. You know, even at sort of 3-2 and then 4-2, when we got back to 4-3, I think Hull's nerves were jangling a little bit. And we only just got caught on the break in the 93rd minute. It was a hell of a semi-final, and very proud of the way we played, but ultimately you want to try and get through.
We needed to score early to get back into that game because, you know, the atmosphere was bouncing, and I was watching on from the sidelines. I'm thinking, I was itching to get on, but I was thinking, this is a real tough day at the office here, you know, and it could go either way.
When did you come on?
I think I came on like 50th minute or maybe
67, was it?
Yeah.
Typical. Mind you, he's got a couple of important ones for us this season, so.
But it was just one of those, it was always going to happen. It's like football seems to work like that. And then for me to come on and work with the gaffer now and Garns and Gaz Crosby, you know, they'll never let me live it down, really.
No, I think all the Blades supporters went away that day feeling very proud that they'd seen the side, say 2 leagues below, give a Premier League side you know, such a good game. And if there's a way of it, if you're going to lose, then lose like that. You know, coming there with your heads held high, and give everything, which we did.
Oh, great to hear from those two again. Nigel Clough, what a bloke, and Quinny's not bad either. And that was a great semi-final to be at. I had the pleasure of commentating on that game. But my abiding memory of that match is just the standing ovation that the players got at the end in defeat. Not one Blades fan looked like they'd left the stadium, and all stood there to applaud, and that put a real lump in the throat. And I think, is that how it has to be tomorrow? As long as the lads give their all, which I'm sure they will, they'll take that, the fans, won't they? No matter what the result is at the end.
That's always the way here, isn't it? You know, the fans just appreciate, you know, the quality these players have got. They appreciate, but the work rate and the endeavour and this giving your all, you know, likes of me who are eggers, basically, average people, as long as you gave your all, the fans, they respected you, and that, you know, those players there in that semi-final gave their all, and you can ask for no more.
And it's a unique position in some respects tomorrow, because week in, week out, the fans are coming to watch United play. Then they're looking at the phone to see how everyone else has gone on. What's the gap? Who's catching us up? That's gone tomorrow. You know, you can just sit back, relax, enjoy what hopefully will be a great game of football. If they win, unbelievable. If not, nothing lost, really. Yeah,
that's it. It's almost like a free pass, you could almost say a bit of a reward. Like, it's been a crazy season, still is. You know, there's a lot to play for, and for the fans, it's fantastic opportunity day out wise. You go and see the Blades playing against top quality opposition. So from a footballing perspective, it's not often that you get to see those players in action, and it's just it'll be a great occasion for everybody, win or lose.
You know, I've seen some things written that couple of weeks ago when the draw was, people were saying, well, if we can keep it to 10, then after a couple of matches ago, if it's 6, then after the match the other night, if it's 3, now tomorrow, it's going to be, come on, we can win this. They've got the belief. And they will. Once you get there, it's just a pitch. They're up just 11v11. And we know, I'll get carried away because I know if things go well, you know I will. These players, it's different to my team where we were a good physical team and we gave all. We've got some really, really technically gifted players that, you know, we're going to see it in a short while against Tottenham. They outplayed Tottenham. It wasn't they beasted them physically or outrun them. They outplayed them because we've got some really, really good players.
It's almost like you're following the script, Carl. Here we are. Spurs were next in the FA Cup. Elliott Jai doing what he does best.
Corner near side with no Norwood who whips it in. There's going to be a header goalwards as well. Mora evades the lunge of Koulibaly, chips the ball back, stick off the post, and a mistake here, and Sheffield United might be in. Short pass into Doyle, who stands it up into the area looking for Basham. It's on Ahmed Hodzic on the right hand side. Offside flag goes up to Porro, brings the ball down. Lovely close control. He will turn and shoot. Robinson hacked at his cross. It's scuffed, and now Njai weaving his way in the penalty. Yes! Wow! Elliott Njai with a moment of FA Cup magic. The World Cup star off the bench to bob and weave inside the penalty area and score a quite spectacular goal. Takes on his man, in goes the box. Kane's downward header. Seconds away from an upset. The whistles ring around Bramall Lane.
We sent Saabs for a lie down. He's getting way too excitable. He will come back a little bit later on. But what a result that was against Tottenham. Elliott Jai. I mean, nothing surprises me with this fella anymore. But again, another highlight there on what's been an amazing season for him on a personal level.
Yeah, he's done great. I think from the minute he made his debut, when he came into the team, he offers something different. You know, a box of tricks, can produce. He can score goals. He can put things on for other people. I like how he dribbles. How he always wants to put defenders on the back foot. But he's also, you know, strong. You know, he looks strong-minded. He looks strong physically. So yeah, he's been a top talent for us since he made his debut, really. And you know, what a good goal there against some top defenders.
He didn't start the game. You know, it was a much changed Blades side that night as well. Some said second string, which I think is a little bit disrespectful to the lads who came in that night. But in essence, a lot of the first teamers that played regularly didn't start that game, and they still got it done, which will have thrilled the manager, because, you know, that's what you want, isn't it? You want players on the sides who you can rely on to come in and do a job when needed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those are the opportunities that the Cup brings as well, is for young players or players that aren't getting regular minutes to go and showcase themselves, almost like just a free opportunity to test yourself against the best, show the manager why you should be playing or what you can do. And the boys on that night took their opportunities. There was, like you said, there was a lot of changes in that team, but to keep it 0-0 as long as we did, and then Innerman pops up with his moment of magic and we secure 1-0. It's a whole team effort, and It was, like you say, it was a very different squad. So it just shows that there is strength and depth, and it's not just reliant on the same 11 or one individual.
Belief's growing then, isn't it? If you beat a Premier League team in that manner, do you start thinking, actually, we can go quite far in this competition?
Yeah, when you beat the so-called best, when you're beating the Premier League clubs, of course belief goes up. But again, you go back to Pep saying that Man City are feeling exhausted and tired. We beat Spurs, and we'd probably been playing 3 games a week for about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, from turn of year, this Saturday, Tuesday, and you have to get on with it. That's why Eki had to change the team. He had to bring the lads in. But again, he's brought the lads in, they've had 90 minutes, and they've got that match fitness, they've got that belief, which has helped in the league.
Keep sending your questions for the guys here, and keep sending your votes for your favourite Sheffield United FA Cup goal. We have had more questions in. Chris, if you were still playing, how would you deal with Haaland? And genuinely, it has been sent in. You preempted this question would arrive. It has arrived. How would you deal with him?
I've been retired ages, and I still go to, after watching him, I still go to bed and go to sleep and wake up in cold sweat. And I know I'm never going to get the chance to play against him. I mean, yeah, wow. I mean, what
is there anybody close to him that you've ever played against?
I played against Didier Drogba, and I think when Drogba first came to Chelsea, I think not that he had the impact goal scoring, but he was people said he was a machine, a big, strong, direct, quick. And I remember playing against him and trying to be really, really physical with him, and he just kept looking at me as if to say, "What are you doing?" And I remember they got a. I'm sure it was they played in Italy in the Champions League the midweek after we'd played them on the Saturday. He never bothered with me. He just kept looking at me as if, "Little man, what are you doing? Just go away." Man. And then they went in the Champions League, and he was in everybody's face, getting at the centre halves. I'm thinking, why did he not do that with me? But he knew whatever he did against me, he'd just come out on top anyway. But yeah, that's probably the closest. Drogba or I was lucky enough to play against Shearer as well. Shearer was just, for me,
tough.
Well, everything, just an out centre forward. But I think probably more modern. I think for me, Drogba's possibly the closest in terms of physicality.
Staying with strikers, Billy Sharp to score, fairy tale finish. He's on 249 at the moment, league goals wise anyway. But could it happen 250?
I hope so. It'd be buzzing if it did. It's just waiting for that one final, just get it over to 250. It would be a fairy tale finish, particularly at Wembley. I don't know, we'll see.
You won't bet against him, would you?
No.
If you had a look tomorrow morning, I think Bill's name will be at top of the odds. Not that I'll be looking, because I'm not allowed to gamble, but...
Where do you stand on this being a free hit? We have nothing to lose.
I think in the sense it is. Obviously, you've got the semi-final and you've got the final to play for, but as you mentioned earlier, there's no pressure on Sheffield United. The pressure is all on Man City. So in that sense, it's an opportunity for the players to relish the occasion, enjoy the occasion. Like we say, we never know what could happen, but it's FA Cup semi-final, so you've just got to go and take the moment and not sort of think beyond that.
Here's one. It's been discussed for several years now. What are your thoughts on scrapping the neutral club stadiums and hosting the semi-finals at Wembley? Chris?
What, coming away from playing at Wembley in the semis and using Old Trafford?
How it used to be.
Etihad?
Yeah.
I
should the final only be played at Wembley?
I think so. I think if I was still playing, I'd probably say different, because if you get a chance to play at Wembley, some of our lads tomorrow, that might be their only chance ever to play at Wembley. Whereas City players, they'll play there year after year after year.
Yeah.
But I just think we've got fantastic stadia in this country now, and let's keep the FA Cup final as a showpiece final at at Wembley.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it makes it more special, I think.
Yeah.
You know, the final being there is a massive thing to play for, and you earn the right to be in that final, don't you? So want it to be a special occasion.
Do you think the manager should pick our strongest team or prioritise Wednesday? Well, in some respects, he can't pick his strongest team because two lads who would definitely play can't, Doyle and McAtee. So his hand's been forced a little there. I think we know roughly what the team is going to be. I think we could probably guess it, couldn't we?
Yeah, I think so. I think possibly that might have helped Eki in terms of them two not being able to play, because I'm sure knowing Eki, he will have, he'll be looking forward to tomorrow as much as anybody, but also he knows that when he took this job, it weren't about winning at Wembley in a semi-final against Man City. It was about getting Sheffield United back to the Premier League. So I'm sure as a top coach, which he is, he'll be thinking, we win against West Brom and we're in the Premier League. And hey, these coaches now, they can split the mind and obviously be thinking about tomorrow and midweek.
Be Fleck and Norwood, I think. That would be my guess to come in.
Yeah, I would have thought so. I mean, you've got obviously experience in there, and the two lads that can't play, it means that they've got a little bit of a rest in a sense for that West Brom game, and I'm sure they won't want that. They'll be wanting to play on the pitch as every player would, but it almost enforces those changes. And Heckie's got options. We'll just have to see how the game goes tomorrow as to how he utilises them.
Right, okay, moving on. I spoke to a member of Rock Royalty earlier, lead vocalist for 2019 Rock Hall of Fame inductees Def Leppard, who will be performing here at Bramall Lane next month. You might have got tickets yourself. Let's hear from him now. He's a lifelong Blade, of course, and he believes anything is possible tomorrow.
It's not that long ago that Wigan beat Man City, so anything's possible, and Wrexham nearly knocked us out, so this is Heckingbottom has said it, so I can't really say anything other than what he said, but it's a case of they need to have a really bad day and we need to play out of our skin, and that's the level playing field that we can look for. You can't have a muddy pitch that will help us. It's Wembley. Even if it rains, it's not going to benefit us more than them. It's going to be tough, but the way I look at it is the money's great because it helps remove the embargo. And we are going up, and if we are going up, we're going to be playing the likes of Man City twice a year. So get the practice in, you know what I mean? So it's going to be a tough call. I've got to be honest. I'm a realist, so I don't want to say anything on camera, so I get death threats from United. But it's going to be hard. But I'm really looking forward to the experience, because we will look back at this time in a few years and go, wow, we got promoted and got to Wembley in the semi-finals in the same season. It's something. There's only really a handful of teams that can ever say that. So that's something to be proud of right there.
They've got Haaland, we've got Ullman and Jai, who's a real special player. I'm sure you've seen him play.
We got Chris Basham as well.
Well, indeed, he may well feature as well.
He's my favourite squad guy. Yeah. He reminds me so much of Bob Booker in the sense of his heart. He might not be Lionel Messi, but he'd be the first to admit that, no doubt. But the fact is, he's been there, 10 years almost? He's got a well-earned testimonial coming up. He's been an absolute rock, and he's a man. He's a real man, because, other players come in that make him not first choice, but he's always ready when he is. And there's no whinging with him. He reminds me of Stan. He reminds me of Booker, and Bobby Booker. What a guy he was. And I think that Basham will be thought of in the same way. I hope he gets a run out tomorrow, as I hope Billy Sharp does, and I hope he scores his 250th goal down there, because he deserves it.
I know you'll have some special memories of watching United down the years. If they were to pull this off tomorrow, that would be the best, wouldn't it? For all of us.
I'm trying to think of my favourite ever moments at the Lane. Obviously, a quality goal from a quality player, because it's been shown on telly so many times, but 7-0 over Ipswich.
Yeah.
Tony Curry sitting on the ball when we beat Arsenal one year after Alan balled it to us.
Leicester away under Harry.
Yeah, I wasn't there for the 5-2-1. But, even when we beat Forest 3-2, which was the start of us not going down under Dave Bassett back in '89, I think it was. There's been some great memories there. Beating Wednesday at Hillsborough 3-1. That was amazing. And then 4-2 of a couple of years later than that. There's been some really great memories, but if we pull it off tomorrow, it'll top everything.
Carlos Saba is with us tonight as well, and he asked me to mention to you that he's going to see you in Prague. I think he was just hankering after some backstage passes, Joe. So if there's any chance, then let us know.
I watch him. I watch him most home games.
Oh, do you?
He's very pro United. I like him, and he's very well spoken too.
He is. That's why we like him. So
I'll sort him out. Not a problem.
There you go. Look, abusing your
Beautiful.
position again.
Excellent. Well done.
You got him all excited again, though.
Yeah,
brilliant.
calm down.
You went off to calm down.
Are you happy with that?
Oh, I'm buzzing.
When's the Prague
I
date?
think it's in June. I mean, it's my missus. She loves Def Leppard, so I'm going to be there and God knows what. So, brilliant.
You lucky swine. So Carlos Saba will be backstage in Prague. Great to hear from him. It's not very often we do, but he's a proper rock legend.
Yeah, proper.
That's Joe Elliott.
I know. Great. From Sheffield.
Play all around the world and massive stadiums.
I know.
Very famous. Great to hear him reminisce, though, about, I mean, he knows his Sheffield United history. He doesn't come very often because he's busy, lives in Ireland, all that kind of stuff. But great to hear him talk about Bob Booker and going further back than that.
He was
TC.
one of my coaches, Bob Booker, and he scored in a Steel City derby. I think he got the winner, and he said it's the greatest thing. He said if you ever get a chance to play in a big derby, because at Brentford it was all little London ones, and to think I actually got to do it as well. And Bob's just he's blazed through and through.
And did it feel as good as he said it does?
Far better.
Far better.
Far better. Yeah, best feeling. And of course, I've lived off that for 23 years, thank God.
Morgs, Def Leppard fan?
Not particularly, but obviously they're a Sheffield band, aren't they? So you support them. So yeah, but no, I don't think they're on the playlist, unfortunately.
I should have asked him beforehand.
So if he sees that, I'll not be getting backstage passes in Prague, will I?
Who's your go-to band at the moment?
I'm not very, very musical, to be honest. I'm quite boring, Paul,
music.
to be fair.
You know that really loud, crashy stuff. That's it.
I've got two daughters, so whenever we're in the car, they just take over and they put what.
But what about when you're out walking the dog and you've got your flat cap and your barber jacket on?
Silence. Just
the sound of silence.
Just the trees blowing.
The tranquility.
Don't have any of these headphones in and noise cancelling. No. I've still got a Walkman.
And I believe him as well. I believe him, by the way. Right, back to the present. We're now at the quarter-final stage of the FA Cup. Blackburn up next. What a game this turned out to be. What a goal that won it.
In front of the Cop End, the Blades fans are doing their best. Brereton, Diaz strikes! Fodringham gets us right down to his left-hand side. Whips it again with pace, coming in his eager, and it's out to the edge of the box for Lowe, who strikes it, deflected and in! Max Lowe! All of 30-plus yards from goal. United have lost out in the middle with Doyle. It's played through the middle for Schmodix, who's onside, and Schmodix will turn the ball in. He scored at Leicester in the last round. Lowe comes in off the left-hand side. McAtee is there. Lowe gets it in. McBurney with the turn in the area. McBurney can't get it away. He can! But that is a monstrous goal by Ollie McBurney. He puts it in the back of the net. Goal 13 of the season. Berger will look to cross in. We haven't seen the board for the additional minutes. Back to Doyle out of his feet! World class! Absolutely world class strike from Tommy Doyle. 30 yards out.
There's always a screamer, isn't there?
What a strike.
Incredible. Just an incredible match. And to think, we went into that match, they beat us a couple of weeks before, but both teams played just a great occasion. It was packed, the fans were here early, the atmosphere was there, and just a wonderful game.
If you're going to win a game, that's how you do it.
I'd got it on the radio. I can't remember where I'd been, and I was listening to it on the radio, and Ali McCoist actually said after, he said it was one of the best FA Cup matches he'd seen for a long time. He said, credit to both sets of players, both sets of supporters, the atmosphere inside Bramall Lane. He just said a proper cup tie.
Hey, that's not a bad strike either, by the way.
That was incredible from McBurney. He scored a couple like that this season. His intent is brilliant.
Bobbling.
Yeah.
Like one of your Saabs, bobbling in
bobbling
in the far corner.
You heard it on the radio, but one sec. Look at that.
That's a thing of beauty, and that's
really
poetry.
It's
That.
come to him. I said two touch. Didn't think the second touch would be as good as that. Just incredible.
Oh, I know him, by the way. That's Marcus on the front row of the Kop.
But you heard it on the radio. But Ali McCoy, I wasn't with Ali McCoy. So what radio were you listening to?
We know what radio station he works for.
I weren't in the catchment area for Radio Sheffield,
Okay.
so unfortunately I couldn't get you on, Sabs.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I did. I think Rob Coslook rang me that day saying, "Are you listening to Sabs?"
I don't want Cozzy listening. Anyone but Cozzy. No, what a game.
Yeah.
You know, both sets of players did themselves proud, and you know, the atmosphere is incredible. What a goal. What a performance from Tommy Doyle.
And then bittersweet for him because the draw's made and it's Man City that come out. Yeah. And he knows that there's every possibility he's not going to play, and obviously he can't. And I do feel for him and McAtee tomorrow, the fact they're going to have to miss out.
The stupidest decision, the stupidest clause, you know, and it's nothing to do with Man City. It's
No,
the actual
absolutely.
rules, but it's farcical, you know.
But tell me this, Sabs, how is it? I know it's an FA rule, but how then can in a Champions League that's supposedly a bigger tournament, then how can Cancelo play for Bayern Munich? You know, and them two lads, you know, and I'm sure if you'd have asked Pep would have loved them to.
Oh yeah, big game experience.
Because that's why they send them out on loan.
Absolutely.
Go out on loan, experience it. They've experienced it here. Go and experience playing, and he'd have loved it.
Well,
sure he would.
Hopefully it'll be a catalyst for the people at the FA to think, well, it's got to be changed. If you can bring VAR in with loads of numpties doing the assessing, surely you can change a proper rule, eh?
So what do you think, Carl? More questions. How does this team compare to the 2003 side? So I guess that's one for you.
They're very good. Really, really good. Complete different, players' skill sets. I think we were high intensity, hard-working team with lots of character. These are a really well technical team. Again, they're very fit and they're very organised. And these lot, our maximum signing was 250,000.
Yeah, but I think your team was a good team.
Oh,
Sabs.
we were really good.
Yeah, there was some good players in there, and actually I think it'd be great to be able to, I don't know, scientifically get them two teams to, and I always wonder that, when people ask that in football, which was the best team. Football has changed, it's different now, but I think it'd be interesting to put them two teams up against each other.
We didn't ever think we were the worst team. We always felt we could beat the opposition because we'd play to our strengths, and for teams to beat us, they had to really work. And that's why I like watching this team. I think if this team actually perform and put the hard work in, they're a really hard team to beat because of the quality they have.
Chris, how would you have dealt with playing against Njai? In the chat, it's been suggested he's the most skillful player to have played for Sheffield United. Would you have left him to somebody else?
No.
I mean that in a respectful way.
No. Because I like taking responsibility. If the team had a top player and he was a centre forward, if I thought I was a good centre back, I'd have never shied away from marking their best player. So, I'd have, like with Haaland, joking apart, if I'd have been playing against Haaland tomorrow...
You'd want to play against him, wouldn't
yeah,
you?
I'm not saying you relish in it, because you've watched him... And
you want that physical confrontation with him, yeah?
I'd have probably... So here's one for you. I think it's hard to say about playing against Haaland or Illerman, but I think I'd rather play against Haaland because I think I'd be able to match him physically. He's quick and he's bright in the box. He might end up getting away from you. But the bits that I was saying about Illerman, he loves to send you one way, drag you in. He's a dribbler. He changes direction.
But he invites a challenge now.
Yeah,
he holds
does,
the ball because he's got complete belief in his strength. We've seen that over the last 18 months. First season he was getting cramp a lot. Now the ball's coming to him and it's like he stops it and waits for the physical challenge. Yeah. He feels them. So I think that I'd actually, can we not make that happen? Can we not have a training session, you one-on-one?
Try and recreate it in the gym up at Shirecliff. I'm only joking.
No.
He probably would make me look down.
You just know, though, that staying with Illerman, you just know that he'll be relishing this because he strikes me as the kind of guy that wants to get out there, biggest stage of all, Show what he can do to the world.
Well, I think all of them are. I think Elliott did against Tottenham. You know, Tottenham, he was itching to get on, and when he got on, he had the best touch on the pitch. He dribbled round them like they were mannequins at a training ground, and he put it in the goal. That's what I think people aren't understanding about Elliott. What he does, he's going to do to any player. He'll do it in the Championship, he'll do it in the Premier League, wherever. He's that good.
The Seaman save, was it that good? That question's just come in. Well, it was, wasn't it?
It was an incredible save. I should have scored. We've gone years and years where Pesh gets the stick, and every year when the anniversary comes up, I text Pesh, sorry. But yeah, it was an incredible save, and from my vantage point on the floor on my bum, where I've got one hand in the air, it was a painful save to watch.
Yeah, you're the one in mid-air when the ball comes across from Robert Page.
Yeah, well, Page had a great game that game. As I said, he won so many headers. I peeled off him knowing that he'd win it, and it was the perfect setup for me. Scissor kick. I think Anel would have scored it. Missed the scissor kick, you know.
Mr. Morgan might have scored it as well.
Just on the Seaman save, I was at the game, and I was in that cut. So literally, as I'm sat here now, the goal's there, and I'm sat more or less bang on line with it, and you're just waiting for obviously Saab's effort to go in. Yeah. And it was as though he caught it, and he sort of catches it and flicks it in one. It's an incredible save. Really, Like I said, I was bang on line with it, more or less on the goal line. What a save!
I think Paddy Kenny got his shirt, but had to give it back to him, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah. Paddy Kenny got Seaman's shirt. And then while after, Seaman said,
"Could
I have it back?"
Game. It was something.
Was it a landmark game for Seaman?
Yeah, it was.
Or
and he asked it, but then he gave him all sorts of other stuff as well. Yeah, he was great with Paddy. Yeah.
Right, we can take you to the team hotel now. We've been speaking to Iliman and Jai.
Iliman, coming live from the team hotel. How was the journey down, and how much are you looking forward to tomorrow?
The journey was kind of quick. Obviously, I slept on the train, but obviously we're very excited for the game tomorrow. The whole team is, so yeah, can't wait for it. Yeah, it's been an amazing cup run, hasn't it? Obviously, big goal against Spurs, just to get to this point. Yeah, it's not only my goal against Spurs, it's the whole squad obviously performing well. Each game's until this point, so yeah, I can say it's been amazing. Yeah, and there's no bigger stage than Wembley Stadium, so how much are you looking forward to testing yourself there against an excellent side? Yeah, we've been looking forward since obviously found out that we're playing against them. Obviously at Wembley, so we just can't wait for the game to start now. Obviously we're going to try and show the best of what we can do, and hopefully we'll have a great day. And Blades fans will be coming down to London in the numbers tonight and tomorrow morning. What's your message to them? Just be as loud as you can be. We need you. You're a tough man. So hopefully, yeah.
Someone's had a new trim. Someone's had a Wembley haircut. I bet he's not the only one.
Yeah, very sharp.
Did you ever do that ahead of big games? New trim?
Well, I was just happy that it stays in. It's all patchy. So, no, I didn't have a trim too often.
Ellie's back with us. Welcome back. Let's just have a look at how both sides got to the semi-final. Now, you probably know this by now. Manchester City haven't conceded in the FA Cup this season. They've scored 14 goals along the way.
They've locked their way through, haven't they?
Yeah.
Locked it through.
Yeah, they've beaten Chelsea, Arsenal, Bristol City, and we saw what they did to Burnley in the last round as well. Burnley just promoted, about to win the Championship title. It doesn't bode well when you look at it that way, does it?
The amount of goals scored, like you say, versus conceded is just ridiculous. They're absolutely forced to be reckoned with, and like you say, Burnley, they're not even a bad side, top of the Championship. So just made them look silly with a scoreline like that. But we keep talking about Haaland and all the threats they've got going forward, but their just defensive record is something that's that's going to be pretty difficult to break down, and speak for itself.
This is it's a neutral venue. It's a one-off game. You know, I'm not the boys aren't going to roll over. You know, this is our boys. We can marvel at Man City, but these boys are going to make them work for everything they do, and that's all we can ask. I'm not going to go there and say, well, no, they've not conceded and it's a foregone. Our boys are going to just give their best.
I feel like as a player, you don't even really think about that. You know what's coming ahead of the game, and you know the opposition. You can respect the the level that they're at, but you don't sort of think, oh, I'm going to go into this game and we're going to get a battering and that's what's going to happen. You take it as long as you can, keep the scoreline at 0-0 as long as you can, because you just never know what could happen.
Yeah, they'll be visualising how they can win, how they can score. They're not going to be going there thinking, well, let's keep it to free. They're going to be thinking of how they can score, and they'll all be positive.
City unbeaten in their last 15 since they lost at the start of February to Tottenham.
All right, stop saying it now. I'm
12 wins. I'm just bringing a dose of reality to it all. I like everyone else, want Sheffield United to do this tomorrow. Believe me, I do. 12 wins, 3 draws during that period. It'd be fascinating to see. This is their recent 5 games, by the way. Again, flying. Liverpool, Southampton disposed of. Bayern, that job was done first leg. Leicester, and then obviously the 1-1 draw the other night where Haaland missed a penalty. Did score though. It'd be interesting to see what team he puts out, because looking at the quarter-final victory over Burnley, Ortega played, Walker played, Laporte played, Rico Lewis played, Mahrez played. Not regular starters. I mean, they're all great players still, aren't they?
Top international.
Yeah. So whatever team goes out there tomorrow is going to be some team.
Yeah, and that's it. And our boys are going to relish the chance. I'm more excited anticipating what we're going to do, because the manager's going to do something. They're going to have some game plan that it's not just going to be the same. They're going to have little ways, and it's going to be interesting to see how they conceive on beating or scoring Man City. What are they going to do? Are they going to try and press? Are they going to sit back? That's what I'm looking forward to see how this team go about trying to beat City.
I don't know what the way is in which you try and play against them, because if you press them, they'll pick you off. If you sit back, they'll find a way through you. They seem to have a solution to every problem, don't they?
That's the sort of quality they have. You've got players that are fantastic with their feet. You've got players like Grealish, and then on the opposite scale, you've got someone like Haaland, who's got masses of physicality, speed, strength up front, just different challenges all over the pitch. But you're right, if you go press for 90 minutes, you're going to get tired out. They're very good at keeping the ball and moving you. If you sit off them and just let them come onto you, you're almost waiting for the inevitable to happen. So it'd be interesting to see how they set up, but it'll be a difficult one.
If you're a regular viewer of SUTV Live, you will know that before every game, we pick out 5 players to watch. Now, we've picked 5 players to watch for Manchester City, which seems a little bit daft, considering, we could have put 30-odd players on here. But here they are. John Stones is relevant at the moment because he's playing so well, but playing in this strange kind of hybrid role where he's drifting into midfield.
It's the overload in midfield.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's incredible.
This is another Pep invention, it would seem.
Yeah, well, he's got the players to do it. He's a £50 million player, and he's a top player. So of course they're going to do it. And that 5 is ridiculous, isn't it? You saw that on a little 5-a-side pitch. You run off. At goals on a Wednesday night. But that's what the boys want. They want to play against these players. They don't want to be playing against Wigan every night. They want to, that's why you're winning this division or getting promotion from this division, to pit yourself week in, week out against the top. So we're looking at them there. 3 seasons ago, we were pushing for European football. So respect how good they are, but don't discount how good our players are and the effort they put in and the belief they'll have in themselves. So let Man City beat us. Don't let us go there all defeated at the names on the paper. Let them put in the performance to outplay our players. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them compete against the likes of some of the players we've just seen there. Take Haaland out of the equation. There's De Bruyne, massive fan. From a pure footballing perspective, superb. Rodri. I think Rodri's a fabulous player.
Brilliant.
Never gives the ball away. His range of passing is immense.
Like
He can play him centre half. He can play midfield.
Yeah, they're brilliant, and this is what everyone aspires to. This is the cream of the cream, and it's what everyone aspires to be. So let's see how our boys go about it.
I think as a player, you'd be excited to challenge yourself against those players on an individual level, because the quality they bring. We've said they're world-class players all across the pitch, whether you're talking about Haaland, De Bruyne, Stones. There's going to be some very interesting individual battles within that. I think players going to sleep focusing on what they're good at, what their qualities are, and also just testing themselves against the best. It's an opportunity for them to do that, and Hecky alluded to it as well. Yes, it's a massive occasion, but if promotion comes our way, you're going to be testing yourself against big name players every week, hopefully next season. So it's a good opportunity in that sense as well.
Yeah.
Jack Grealish showing why they paid 100 million quid for him, because he had a tough first season, didn't he? But he's really kind of settled into that role now.
But that's the thing that Pep can do with that squad. He can get in a £100 million player, and until he's exactly as Pep wants him, he's not forced to play him. You know, and now Grealish is playing to the way and is physically the way that Pep wants. He's in the team and he's looking incredible. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, great. Nathan Ake's out, which is a blow to them. He's been great. And then I read in the next sentence that Phil Foden might start. So there we are. I'd like to see Kyle Walker play. You know, his ties to the Blades. He was brilliant down here. There's all this talk about he might come here for the last couple of years of his career. I think he'd have to take some pay cut to come back. But I think the kind of romanticist in us all would love to see him come back and play for the Blades one day. But what a career he's gone on to have since breaking through here.
Yeah, and you know, he comes, he's watched Blades when it's brilliant. No, I don't want to see him on the pitch.
No, you don't?
He's a very good player.
Well, yeah, he is.
But I respect him, and I think I've seen a lot of that. If we go up, will we be getting this person, that person? You know, let's talk for another day. And you don't want the club to go crazy and break pace, structures, and everything. You know, let's all just focus.
Stick to what you've been doing.
What would your approach be tomorrow, in terms of the game plan? If you were in that hot seat tomorrow,
I'd stick to similar formation and just say the boys, you know, they've earned it. They've shown against Tottenham with the intensity that they can win on their day, and just go and believe in yourselves. You know, you've done a full season and you're at the top of your division. You've beaten Premiership teams. You've tackled the adversity of Wrexham. Go and just show what you're about. Don't worry about messing up. You're trying yourselves against the best. You've got nothing to lose. You're good players. Go and make the city proud.
I'll be inclined to remind them of the Spurs game, you know, where you're going into a game and you're underdogs, not necessarily favourite to win it. And, you know, in that sense, he'd obviously mix the team up quite a lot, which I think it'll be a more experienced side tomorrow than it was against Spurs. But like Carl said, you just remind the players that they've earned the right to be in that position, so they can go into that game and relax and enjoy it, enjoy the occasion, but also take confidence from the fact that they have, you know, beaten teams of a higher sort of status, if you like, or league position in the past, and you've got nothing to lose at this point, so just go and enjoy it.
I think they'll enjoy being underdogs as well, because for the vast majority of this season, they haven't been, have they?
Completely.
They're one of the favourites all the time.
All the time, and that pressure that they deal with week after week, it's not there, and they can focus on being them, but express themselves. You know, just go and show how good you are, because everyone's talking about those Man City players. You go and show that what you're about.
Right, let's hear from Paul Heckingbottom, who is the man charged with coming up with a game plan to stop one of the best sides on the planet right now. We asked him what it means to be leading out the team at Wembley.
Just a big occasion in what's been so far a really memorable season, and that's been the message. We've got ourselves in a position in the league where we've made Wednesday night a really big game, but that's a few days away, so all our focus now is on City and an FA Cup semi-final. So we're going to enjoy it. We're going to try and give a really good account of ourselves, and I think, as I said after the last game, we know who we're playing against, we know the calibre of player, and we know that we need them to have a bit of an off day and us to be at our very best. But having watched the last two games against City in the Premier League and watching a lot of our players perform really well against them in those 2 years, the players can draw a lot of confidence from that. But we know, even though those performances were good, they still weren't good enough to beat City, so we have to try and do something even better to get a result.
But given there were a lot of the players now involved in those 4 games, I imagine them in particular, and yourself, can look back at them and say, yeah, look, you've got this experience in the bag.
Yeah, I think experience of playing against that calibre of player, if we achieve what we want to achieve this season, this is the calibre of player we want to be playing against every week. So again, pointless siding away from it and being scared of it. I think from those games, City are doing things differently 2 years on. We're certainly doing things differently 2 years on. So there's a different dynamic to the match, but the occasion itself, I think, means it's a totally different experience anyway. An FA Cup semi-final at Wembley, like I said, part of a season for us which at the minute is going great, but we want to make sure, like I said, that we get get things out of this season and not just a pat on the back for doing well so far.
Paul Heckingbottom there. We now have an SUTV Live exclusive. Earlier today I got the opportunity to speak to Prince Abdullah.
Prince Abdullah, lovely to see you. Just how much are you looking forward to this one tomorrow?
I'm very much looking forward to it. I hope it will be a good game. We'll play well. We'll present Sheffield as I hope we will, and I'm really very excited about tomorrow.
And I gather you're off to see the manager and the team later on today. Is that just a bit of a good luck message from yourself?
Yes, I mean, and to thank them for everything we've done this season. It has been a tremendous season, ups and downs, but I really think it will be one memorable season, and hopefully we can achieve all our goals. We're still not there yet. We can't relax. We haven't accomplished anything yet, but hopefully by this time Wednesday, by this time Thursday, we'll be in much better position.
What does a game of this size do for the club's reputation and image on a global level?
I think Sheffield United has, like in the last 4 or 5 years, have reached globally. Everybody, like most of the people who love football now know about Sheffield United, know about Sheffield the city. I think this game will help that more and more, and the way we play, I think it makes the neutral fan like cheer for us. We play, I feel the right way, honest. We give it all in every game. We have some really good quality players, and hopefully tomorrow we can play as we're capable of and give a good game.
What about the manager and the job that he's done, managing to get the club to a semi-final and right on the brink now of promotion? How would you comment on what Paul Heckingbottom has achieved thus far?
I'm really proud and happy for him, for us, for the fans. Not only him, also all his coaching staff. I think we've done a tremendous job. It has been a difficult season, and also championship is really difficult. Any team can beat any team in any given day. And you have those games that you wish that you've done better or played or have better result. But at the end of the day, we had a very good season. I think Paul gets huge credit, and him and his coaching staff and the players. But as I said, we haven't done anything yet. We have to finish strong.
Are you nervous ahead of tomorrow, or excited, or a mixture of both?
I mean, nervous, yes. I'm nervous about tomorrow and about Wednesday, but I'm always nervous. Don't read anything into that.
Are you looking forward to rubbing shoulders with your counterparts of Manchester City tomorrow?
Yes, I mean, we can beat anybody in a good day, and we've done that. We've beat, I think, 4 out of the top 6 the last 3-4 years, and hopefully we'll add number 5 tomorrow.
I know it's difficult in terms of the future of the club due to legalities and certain sensitivities, but I would imagine on your part there has to be a certain amount of short-term planning, yes?
Yes, of course. I think we always plan as we're here forever. I'll also talk with Paul about next season today, but not briefly. But I'm sure as soon as things are sorted, like promotion, hopefully sorted out, we're going to have a longer meeting. I think we have a clear vision about what we should do next year. Of course, we'll discuss it with Paul, and we'll have a plan for sure. I mean, so I don't think we should need to worry about that.
In terms of the match, just going back to that tomorrow, when you look at that Manchester City team, is there one player that you're wary of? I think we all know what the answer might be.
I think I have to speak to Berger to call some of his friends too.
They are best friends, aren't they?
Yeah, I know. Come on. Friendship has to work.
But it must be such a proud moment for you to think of yourself sitting at Wembley watching Sheffield United in an FA Cup semi-final, and it's good as well that the message has been from the manager that they're not going there just to be a part of things. They're actually going at this as though there is a chance to win. That has to be the approach, doesn't it?
Of course, yes. And our record with the big teams the last 3-4 years shows that. We've just beaten, in this run, we beat Tottenham, Spurs, so we're capable in a good day of beating anybody. So I'm really proud of the team. And even if we haven't reached a semi-final, it will not make me any less proud. I'm proud about everything, about the team, about the fans, about how we play, about the city. So hopefully tomorrow will be another very good day for Sheffield United fans.
Yeah, indeed. It's the supporters that make an occasion like this, isn't it?
Yes, and they're going to be loud tomorrow. And as like my son, who studies in London, he tells me every time he goes to Sheffield United game in London, our fans like outdo the other fans, even at their own stadium. So I'm looking for another big day for our fans tomorrow.
Well, we can't wait for it. Good luck, and pass on our best when you see Paul and the boys later on tonight.
I will. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
There you go, Prince Abdullah, who's as excited as everyone else ahead of this one. And you can sometimes forget about the people right at the very top. Everyone concentrates, rightly so, on the players and the manager. But there are people at the top who have a vested interest in what happens in games like this as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why they get involved in buying football clubs and things like that. They want days like tomorrow. They want their clubs to get promoted to a higher league. So yeah, of course he's excited, and he should be.
It's like the fun end of the season, isn't it? Everything starts off, you're setting expectations, things like that. And as you said, would be being an FA Cup semi-final at the start of the year. I don't know what you'd make of that, but as you say, it's top to bottom. It's exciting for the club, and those are the sort of games and occasions that everybody wants to be involved in at the end of the day.
And these were the scenes earlier, Prince Abdullah meeting the players at the hotel, which is always good to see. I mean, there's been a lot of conversation this week about owners going into dressing rooms, and obviously that's not the same as that. But I think away from a game, on the eve of a game, that's fine, isn't it? It's perhaps good for the players to see that the owner's got a presence and he's there and he's supporting them.
Of course, just bringing all the club together.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure how much he understood of what Bash was just saying to him there.
Probably not a single word.
He looked quite confused.
We've talked about two players who sadly can't play tomorrow. They will be there with the Sheffield United tracksuit on, no doubt, but maybe with a Man City shirt underneath, who knows. But Doyle and McAtee, they've made such a big impact, haven't they, this season in different ways. McAtee's been chipping in with goals of late. He's in terrific form. And Doyle just gives everything. He's just what you would want from a Sheffield United midfield player, isn't he? The way that these two lads have had an influence this season's been massive.
I think the best thing I can say about them, Paul, is that when lads come in on loan, when they come into a club on loan, do they come in and treat it like their club? Do they come in? Not. Do they come in and give it all? That's a little bit of a. Of course they do, because at the end of the day they both want careers. But I think the biggest thing I can say about the pair of them is that they've come into Sheffield United and acted like Sheffield United players. They've come from Man City. There's been no, big time Charlie and particularly with McAtee, because McAtee found it difficult at the start.
Yeah,
I think I remember him away at Luton. Did he come on as sub and get taken off, or
he started and got subbed off, didn't he?
And got subbed off early. And you know what? He's just stuck at it, and he's scored some real important goals for us. But the pair of them have been unbelievable. They really have. But Ellie tomorrow, the two that are coming in, a total different end of the careers, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. The boys, they're going on loan. You go on loan to gain the experience and to get the match time, and that kind of sometimes is what changes dynamic. When you've got new players coming in, they're on loan, you think, is there an expectation to play from them? But they've absolutely earned the right to be in those shirts and to be starting players for Sheffield United. And we've seen them develop physically, we've seen them develop in terms of adding goals and the quality they bring, settling more into their roles as well as players. As you say, at the start, they had a little bit of a rocky start. It was almost like McAtee or Doyle, and then now we're playing them both at the same time. But yeah, tomorrow is a little bit different. They'll be gutted that they miss out, but we've got quality and other Sheffield United players that can step up to that challenge.
Yeah. Testament to Sheffield United for helping their development as well. And obviously City would have looked at Sheffield United this season and no doubt thought, well, they're a team that's capable of making a challenge. And we've seen the history that this club has had with developing loan players, young players. I'm sure that all played a part in it, didn't it, when they were making the decision of whether to let them out or not?
Yeah, I think, from City's point of view, what they do is they invite the staff in. When clubs want to take their players on loan, they invite them in. And I'm not saying that they have to do a presentation, but they have to go and basically convince City that they want the players. So I think credit to our staff. You know, and particularly Eki. You know, let's face it. You know, Eki, going back to Barnsley.
Yeah.
You know, he had some fantastic young players at Barnsley.
Well, he had John Stones there, didn't he?
Yeah. So
I'm sure he probably used that as part of his presentation.
Yeah,
why not?
Yeah, should do. You know, because that's where he came through. You know, so I think we've took players in, and you know, Sheffield United itself has produced through the academy. You know, good top players. You know, so Man City have trusted. They've trusted our staff with their players.
Yeah, which is a feather in the cap for Sheffield United, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, like Chris says, it's got to work for both parties. You know, the boys have got to know that they're on a development plan. City have to be able to see that as well. So that's important for Sheffield United to say, look, here's what we've done with young players before. Here's what they've gone on to. Here's how we're going to help them. And ultimately for the boys to then buy into that wholeheartedly and work with the staff to hopefully further their careers, because at the end of the day they're there as a stepping stone for them to get the minutes and the experience. And you know, do you sit on the bench or play 23s at your first team or your Premier League team, or do you go to the Championship and get a lot of different experience playing and go and further yourself? So yeah, it's been successful so far for both of them.
Oliver Norwood, for the most part, had that role that Doyle's now got. What's impressed you about Doyle playing in that role, Chris?
Well, I've seen loads of him playing for City's 21s, and you know, he's fantastic at that role. You know, he sits there, he demands the ball, he's used to the ball, he's very good. You know, people have always spoke about, you know, his size. You know, I think people get obsessed with the Premier League, that you have to be a 6'4" man mountain to play. You know, like a Rodri. You know, but I think he proves that he's got a competitive edge. He can play. You know, as we just that free kick there. You know, his corners. He's fantastic at his set play deliveries. So in many ways, we're describing a young Ollie Norwood, because that's all the things that Ollie's good at, you know, in terms of set play deliveries. Them switches of play there, you know, again, that's what Ollie's done brilliantly for years and years. He gets it in the middle of the pitch, switches the play. But, you know, this strike here is incredible. And he knows that's him, by the way. You know, when I score goals like that, the minute it leaves your boot, you know it's in.
I must have missed those games more.
Mine used to probably hurt somebody in the cop who just got a cup of tea. Or
McAtee's goals, a lot of them look very similar, don't they? He never kind of thrashes them in.
Yeah,
he just caresses them in.
Controlled, and he's good with his feet. I scored one the other day. I think was it Cardiff? And he just dribbled through. Nice little bit of footwork and just calmly slotted the ball into the net, and that's a sign of a confident player, composed player. And again, he's just gone from strength to strength. He's another attacking threat. You've got Illiman, who likes to dribble and have the ball at his feet and commit players, but when you've got Illiman and McAtee in those sort of areas playing off each other, forced to be reckoned with in terms of defences. And you know, he wants to commit players and drive at them. He's not shying away from. Here you see just picking up on the edge of the box. That's the one I was mentioning just then, and that's a great finish. He's got a lot of bodies around him, and he's just managed to pick his spot and put it away. So yeah, I've been really impressed with him.
And the goal here the other night, again, with that instep. It's always with the instep. Apart from the Norwich game where he was on the stretch, he looked a mile offside, but he actually wasn't offside. But this is the goal here from the other night. One touch. A lot of players would put the laces through that. He just places it in.
Do you know what, Paul? It's too easy because he's had these players in front of him, but Bernardo Silva, David. Do you know the way he does things in and around the box, left-footed? You know, Phil Foden. These lads they've joined in sessions. They've been around the top players, and you can see that they've taken bits off him. And the bits he does around the box, his brightness and how he does technically finish. And he don't smash it. He don't need to smash it. He just places it, and that's. You know, he's learnt off the best. Yeah,
two very special players. Right, we're going to go back now to the team hotel and hear from Sander Berger.
Sander, we're in the team hotel the night before the FA Cup semi-final. How was the journey down? How much are you looking forward to tomorrow?
Yeah, a good journey down, obviously. Train with the team and a good preparation at Bramall Lane. So, looking forward to it. It's been a good week for us in the league, and you know, taking some confidence down to this game, and just a good feeling in general in the squad. And it's no better game to look forward to than playing City at Wembley. You know, it's obviously a massive test, but it's a great stage to be at, and to showcase ourselves as a team.
Have you played at Wembley Stadium before yourself?
No, this is the first time, so yeah, it will be magnificent to go out there and feel the atmosphere and the pitch, and just enjoy the moment.
And good to test ourselves against obviously some very good opposition.
Yeah, probably the best team in the world, at least up there with the best, and they've shown for so many years how good they are, and yeah, can't wait to play against them, and it's a big test, and it's a nice way of coming into it with our cup run and also with how we've been doing in the league. So this will be a great afternoon, hopefully.
And last thing, Blades fans will be coming down in their numbers tonight, and I'm sure they'll make a lot of noise tomorrow. What would your message to them be?
Just keep doing what they've been doing all year. They've been brilliant for us, and they have been a big reason for us doing so well. And once again tomorrow we need them at their best, and hopefully they will cherish the moment as much as we are, and we'll give them a proper go and a fight against one of the best. So just push forward, and looking forward to be there with them.
I bet you a pound to a penny he's the one getting Haaland's shirt tomorrow. That'll already be pre-arranged. Don't you worry about that. In terms of who's going to be in that midfield area with him tomorrow, do we think Flecker Norwood, or are we ignoring the Basham factor? He's got the legs, hasn't he, to play in there?
I think it'll be the tried and tested three.
Yeah,
well, I do. Yeah, I think it'll be them three. Nothing against Bash. I think Bash's main position has been that right side centre back slot. I think it will be them three. I think they'll be in there tomorrow. I think Eki will go with, like I said, tried and tested. But Bash will certainly be there, ready, if his legs are needed.
Yeah.
You go with that, Carl?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Norwood play on the big pitch. His range of passing, and that pitch is a big pitch. And Flecky, he's been there, he's done it. And as you say, it's tried and tested. The manager depends on him, he believes in him, he trusts him, and it's a huge match.
Does Sanders' role change at all as a consequence of Doyle not being there or not? I guess not, no? Or is there more responsibility on him to get United up the field more?
I think there is. I think there is more responsibility on him. I think there's a hell of a lot of responsibility on them three tomorrow, because when you're playing a team like Man City, when you are starved of the ball, when you do get the ball, you've then got to try and keep it, and you've got to try and take a little bit of control.
The key things with McBurney is the way he retains the ball. I think he was bought with that in mind, of Premiership football and ball retention, and Sanderberg, McBurney and Jai, the way they hold the ball and keep it, it's going to be key, because you don't want to keep turning it over to the opposition.
Okay, back to the team hotel. Should we hear from Paul Heckingbottom? I caught up with him just a short time ago. Paul, less than 24 hours to go to the big day. You feeling nice and relaxed? Is the group nice and relaxed?
Yeah, everyone's good. It's we've just tried to approach it like any game. So it's the same, it's the same same routine for us. You get used to it. So yeah, we know the occasion and what it is tomorrow, but honestly, it's just a normal game. I think the fact that every game's been big and we're chasing something else at the same time has meant that it's not really any different to any of the other games. It's no bigger, it's no smaller. It's just another fantastic game to be involved in.
What's the plan for tonight then? Give us an insight as to what's going to happen this evening.
We arrived here. Some lads jumped straight on the massage table. They might be with Evo and Chrissy getting a rub down, or with the physios. Prince Abdullah's just been here with Yusuf and Steve, so we've had a catch up for an hour or so, and then they've popped in to see the lads when they're having their evening meal, which they are now. And then us as staff get together a little bit later. We'll have a bit of food, and then plan is to watch the Arsenal game and see how they get on.
Have you told the players who's playing? I assume you have by now.
Yeah, the lads know the team. We've done all our work. There's little bits of informal coaching goes off with the iPads and little reminders, and then we'll have a final meeting tomorrow before we leave. Again, little reminders, the important things. But the message is what you probably expect. We're going to try and enjoy the occasion, enjoy the day, and get the most out of it. Obviously, how we feel about the game will depend on the result afterwards, but we're not at that stage yet. Everything we're doing now is to try and help us perform. So we're just intending on giving our best.
What about planning for City? We know, having heard Pep speak earlier, that Nathan Ake is definitely out of this one. He's got an abundance of quality there. We all know that. Have you got an idea in your own head as to what City are likely to do, given they've got the Arsenal game coming up as well, which obviously is monumental for them also?
Yeah, there'll be changes because that's what they do in games when they're in a tight period and playing every 3 games. Similar to us in terms of the programme and how many games they have. They have a bit more travel. They've just been travelling back from Germany. So I'd expect players to change. We're not expecting any lesser calibre of player to come in. We know we're facing £50 million international players, that's it. But I think what we're more focused on is understanding how we think they'll try and play against us, predicting what they think we'll do, and then Pep tends to have a way he tries to approach different systems and ways to hurt, and then he has in-game change as well. So I think it's been more preparing for that rather than the personnel.
If I'd have told you at the start of the season that you'd be in pole position to get promoted back to the Premier League in an FA Cup semi-final, what would your reaction have been?
You know, I would have snapped your hand off. I think. Listen, internally we've never hit. Internally we set standards and we made sure that. Listen, even from last season, but certainly again when we reassessed in the summer. We spoke a lot about how we had to behave, what it would take to try to get out of this league, and then everything we wanted to do was give us the best chance of getting there. We didn't obviously shout that from the rooftops when we were doing the press or chatting, but our intention internally as a group of staff players was that. So yeah, that was the focus. I think to be in the position we're in, we'd have snapped anyone's hands off in terms of the league position. I think, but to enjoy and to have got on this cup run at the same time and now to be at Wembley facing one of the best teams in the world, that running alongside that, yeah, it's an unreal position to be in. But we have to finish the season with something. We have to finish the season with a promotion, with an FA Cup, or it'll just be one of them seasons that tends to be forgotten about.
Well, I don't detect any nerves there. He's just so measured week in, week out, regardless of the opposition. He's got to do the team talk tomorrow. And we've had a question that's appeared several times tonight. What would your team talk be and what would your team talk be? Let's start with you, Morgs.
My team talk, I think, would be, like Eki's just said there, pre-season, we set some standards. We set about how we wanted to play. That's got us to where we are. And he alluded to it, by saying that they're going to treat it the same. Of course, it's a huge game, but all the preparation, the travel, what they've done in the hotel, has been the same. So I think that's what. If I was stood there tomorrow, I'd just say, listen, lads, what we've done all season has stood us in good stead. You've worked hard, you've believed in what we do. Just go out there and do exactly like we've been doing this season. And also, and this is always a difficult one. Tell them to go and enjoy it. Because too many times, and Sabs, I'm sure you'll agree, as a player, you're playing big games and they pass you by so quick, and then you're on the bus or you're in the car driving home and you're thinking, could I have done this? They pass you by so quick, and I just think, enjoy it. It's difficult for them lads tomorrow to think, I'm going out to enjoy it, because it is a pressurised game. But go out and enjoy the game. Enjoy it. Your family's there. Just go and try and do everything you can for yourself, for your club and your family.
Good stuff, Morgs, although you'd have to start your team talk at 4 o'clock, 4:45 kick-off. Sabs?
Just replicate what you've done all season. You've had a great season, you're great players, believe in one another, and stick to the plan, because that's what they've done so far this season. That's what's got them their success. Don't play it any differently. It's another match in the best stadium in the world against the best team in the world. Don't go off script. You stick to what's got you there, stick to the team plan, team ethic. No one go off, on their own page, and believe in one another and enjoy it.
Good note to finish on. Blades fans, enjoy Wembley tomorrow if you're going. Be loud, be proud, and we'll be back here on Wednesday night, where it could happen. Promotion could be sealed here against West Bromwich Albion. We'll see you then. But before we go, my thanks to Ellie, Carl and Chris for being with me tonight. And you've been voting all night. Thank you for your contributions too. And to send us off to Wembley, here are some of your favourite FA Cup goals. We'll see you again soon.
Sander Berger. Back to Tommy Doyle.
Tong, again the dead ball deliverer. It's back with Morgan! One for the scrapbook. He'll replay that one in the comfort of his own home over and over and over again. Spectacular stuff. Tong, again accurate, the header down, and as the Germans would say, he was good, Morgan.
Baxter with it. Maguire.